All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Odd Taxi, episode 6. Oh boy.
All right. We got ourselves a lot of people that are now loosely connected to the idol group.
And a lot of complicated situations where, honesty is being called into question, or maybe potentially even worse, it isn't. And bank account balances are being called into question.
And devices of interest are being left in key locations.
Which,
with interested parties that will be moving around a lot.
And it could just be a pink herring, but that feels like a bit too on the nose to be a pink herring.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Then also people that suspect others of this deception could then end up being, like bigger players in the plot overall.
Yeah.
Don't want to just stay masked around in the background,
I like how you did that.
Yeah, exactly. Now we also have Odokawa getting a lot more focus in the last episode as well, as he gets to finally have a little bit of a catch-up conversation with Dobu because someone came for the footage.
And Odokawa might have come to an agreement of sorts with the manager.
Yeah, who knows?
But regardless, we get to see a lot more of Odokawa's home life in that, specifically from a taxi that followed him home. Yeah, Tanaka now knows where he lives.
Yeah, we are approaching the midway point, which means that they might stop setting things up
and start executing
and moving things forward towards a conclusion, and collapsing the variables. So let's see. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right. Okay. So this episode, we got to have Shiho and Odokawa have their awkward conversation since Dobu revealed basically what her role in his life was. Up until that point. And also because he connected the dots with Goriki that, it is definitely her doing the theft.
Right. And turns out, yes, your fear is confirmed.
Yeah.
It was because Dobu told her to get close to you.
Yeah. Which has got to feel really shitty.
Yeah.
Because you were genuinely connecting with her, and you definitely felt like she was genuinely connecting with you on some level.
And there's a part of it that eventually was genuine connection. But
that's why you're trying to help her with her debt. You do actually care about her.
Right.
But you're scared of getting hurt, or at the very least, of some kind of intimacy in this regard.
Yeah.
Maybe Odokawa doesn't feel like he deserves intimacy because there might be some aspect of the whole disappearance that he blames himself for on some level.
Yeah.
Because we still don't know what that whole involvement with him is. So that's its own thing. But wow, good conversation. It was emotional. It was painful.
Oh, yeah.
And
But we also got Tanaka chasing him down to a cabaret club because
he got out of the taxi.
Yeah.
Which
is like, okay, good on you, Imai, for finding him and taking him to the cabaret club and everything, because damn, that would have gone very badly. But maybe don't show people in person or online when your name is on the Twitter account that you have a winning lotto ticket for 1 billion yen.
Well, that's a completely different thing. You're talking about we're talking about Odokawa. Right.
No. I kind of jumped around, but yes, yes. Odokawa's okay, and thank you, Imai.
And thank you for Imai for saving him.
Probably has you to thank for that.
But on the dumb side for Imai, not only is his fan account one that he's linking to his own name on some level, which is hilarious and stupid, but then the other thing is he posts up that he won the lottery
before he's cashed in the ticket. That's a problem.
Pretty stupid.
You are very lucky that Odokawa, once you showed that you had the ticket on your person, didn't just decide, you know what, I can dump this taxi car, right? I'll just
thankfully Odokawa's a good guy, great guy, and he's more just surprised that, oh, well, shit, I just threw those numbers in there randomly.
Right.
Okay. Now, okay. this is something that we're starting to connect the characters over again after they've already seen each other once, which means we are kind of accelerating things towards, conclusions and such.
Right.
But there were a lot of other surprising little interactions.
Yeah, like the one with Dobu.
Yeah, like the one with Dobu.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dobu, he's ready to make a move,
and he's wanting to rob a bank.
Which that was from Shiho.
That was from Shirakawa.
Kind of
so that might not actually like be a thing that he's interested in now, but that does seem, if that's true, that feels kind of odd for what we've seen from Dobu's, ambitions and intentions so far. But yes, he wants Odokawa's help to resolve the issue because he himself cannot go and make a move against his rival because they're part of the same organization.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And while, our blue hippo boy, who is going a bit light Yagami here, is starting to, be drunk on his power, basically, there is some aspect of this power that works, and it is affecting Dobu mentally. And it is funny because Dobu almost projects a little bit of the idea of what this person must be doing to you, Odokawa. This person is chasing you. They're trying to
psychologically
torture you. And it's like,
right. But yeah,
that's kind of what you're going through right now. Odokawa's is literally just they're trying to fucking murder him.
Yep.
I just love that when characters have unique personalities, motivations, backgrounds, and all this stuff, and when you write them, it is very easy to sometimes make them think along the same lines as other characters. But because of Dobu's situation and the fact that it is affecting him, having him guess that this guy is wanting to psychologically torture him, which he could be wanting to do in addition to just murdering him.
Right.
The fact is that that's literally what you're going through, Dobu. So I just love that little detail.
Oh yeah, that's great because anytime, like, especially for a character like Dobu, where he's not exactly going to willingly be open about stuff, right?
No.
So you have to basically read into body language and things that he says and little details like that where you can of his inner feelings basically surfacing through cracks in his exterior, right?
Sure.
And we got that. And I love that while he's having this important conversation with Odokawa about, we need to deal with my rival, he's watching this YouTube video because the guy's, psychologically torturing him.
Yeah.
But
little fun detail, we saw the pen again. It is on the back of the passenger front seat. It is not there though when Imai goes into the taxi in the beginning. So I just clarified by looking at the spot there. Right. It would have popped up here if it was there at that point based on the height.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't sure if the headrest was covering it.
Therefore, either Imai put it back in or the person that broke into his taxi.
Oh, wait.
Because somehow it got back in there, right? Someone broke into his taxi, and that could have been just Tanaka, right? The broken window.
Right.
His taxi.
Yeah.
Oh. There is nothing that says that has to be Tanaka.
Wait.
Tanaka never had the pen. Tanaka should never have had the pen for any reason.
Right. If he had, either Tanaka somehow got the pen and we need to understand how it got into his hands, or...
Which is probably not the case. He's a loner. He's singular focused right now. The last time we saw it, it was in...
the manager's...
The Mystery Kiss manager's folder.
Yeah. Right. So that would mean that either he gave it to someone that somehow got into Odokawa's taxi, or he went into Odokawa's taxi again and we're not being shown that for some particular reason.
Right. That's why I think that it is potentially Imai, because the pen might not be, and this is just a weird thing here, it might not literally be the same pen, because this might be a fan merch item for Mystery Kiss. And it's the idea that...
It's actually a pink herring.
It might actually be a pink herring of sorts, that it's something where Imai was the last person to come into the taxi.
Sure. Well, or...
and now it's here.
Or potentially another way. that could be a way that the pen got into Imai's hands, even
Right.
without the manager
Exactly.
knowing necessarily, because it's just, oh, he's a big fan of Mystery Kiss. The manager has it. They are close to each other at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The manager probably doesn't really care about it if it isn't some important thing from Odokawa, right? Maybe he
Probably
wanted to
tosses it into the trash.
Yeah, like
And
maybe
then
he wanted
Imai
to
sees
check.
it and tries to like, oh, what if Nikaido
Right.
really used this?
Exactly, you know, like, because he totally could have maybe gotten it because he thought it was some kind of recording device. Oh, it's not,
Sure.
it's just a pen, you know, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. And then Imai picks it up and just leaves it in there, or who knows.
But yeah, I love the journey that this pen is going on. It's such a fun little thing where I'm like, hey, it could just be, like you said, a pink herring.
Yep.
But we'll see.
But
We'll see. All right. Okay. The little bit with Baba, the other more younger and more attractive member of the Homo sapiens, getting this kind of gig that's like, ooh, you know, basically you can move up in the world,
Right.
get a little bit more of your brand moving.
Yep, when he already has images of himself in storefronts.
Yeah, he's getting really popular.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is wanting to use that, but you can tell that Baba has this
Reticence?
yeah, about like he doesn't want things to change or on some
Right.
level. It seems like he just really enjoys being with the other member of Homo sapiens.
In a lot of ways, he's the mirror of the hippo guy. In mirror as in opposite, not as in like similar, right? Where the hippo kid really wanted to be popular, right? So he does all this stuff, and you know he ends up going viral. He's super popular. He has 1 million subs or followers or whatever, right?
Right.
Cool, right? And oh God, look at what look at what was revealed, you know,
Shibagaki, that's
of
his
how
name,
how he actually was, right?
Right.
Whereas with Baba, it's just I'm not sure how all this stuff works. I care about it and I'm interested in it because I want to do well, right?
Right.
Like in a lot of ways, if he is dating Rui, which is another potential big development, it's the I also want to, you know, maybe he admires that in her and wants to be kind of like that himself and be like, yeah, I'm going to be ambitious. I'm going to do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But, I don't, this is starting to like tug on a friendship that is really important to me.
Right.
And I don't know what to do about that. Right. And everyone's saying, well, just, you know, cut ties.
Yeah.
But he's not sure if he's willing to, but at the same time, because he's trying to do both things at once, turns out even if you decide to try and stick to, you know, the practicing for the round 3, you don't really have time to practice.
Yeah, and one of the things I really like about this is that the guy can't actually put his finger on the real reason why he's popular. And this is funny to say here, but I really think Baba wants his partner to call him funny. Basically, he wants to be acknowledged by his partner. And it's this thing of where when other people are like, oh, we see greatness in you. And it's like, no, you just see that I'm somehow, like, from my perspective looking at this, I think they just see that he's popular and they just want to use that. They don't necessarily understand why he's popular.
Right. Maybe he just got lucky or if anything, it's his earnestness, right, that makes them root for him. And then that, you know.
That's I think, a good part of it. Yeah. Also, what if it's the thing of where by being in an environment with Shibagaki, his partner, he gets to be even cooler because of the way he counteracts and the way they mesh off each other.
Sure.
So it's this thing of where he's like, I'm scared. Like, I don't want to break off from that, but I also would love to have him like acknowledge me and be like, yeah, I'm funny, because he sees his partner as the real funny one.
Right.
So there's a little bit of imposter syndrome in there, but then also a thing of where I don't necessarily want to change.
And maybe that's something that helps him be funnier, is that if he constantly sees himself as not being funny, but his partner is being funny and he wants to be funny, then it's the swordsman who doesn't know how fast they are until they actually like get in a fight with somebody and they're like, I guess my training did pay off.
Really good.
I am really good, and I just didn't realize it.
Yeah, and the way he's like, oh, you should ditch him, he's being a sore loser. He was about to say something about Shibagaki. He's like, but Shibagaki is, and then he gets cut off.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what is the perspective that Baba has on his partner that makes him not want to end this here, especially given the callback all the way to episode 1, where like, what, the round 3 of the N1 is coming up, and we were planned for that.
Right.
And yet he doesn't have time to go over the material and stuff with him, which is just, that's more like the depressing side of things, where that's just, life will take you in different directions from the people around you at times. And,
but then, almost to make it even worse, then we have this conversation with Rui, and oh man,
and she is so fake. Like the way you can tell, like immediately on the way that she comes in, that she's genuinely excited to see him. But the way she flips back and forth in her like
mid-conversation.
Mid-conversation.
Right.
She is not even trying to be subtle about this. And maybe on some level she just likes that she can do this with him and he doesn't like find it weird.
He basically has enough beta energy that she can be the alpha in the relationship, right? Like I feel like that's a simplistic and maybe crude way of looking at it, but Rui is very much interested in being the alpha in whatever situation she's in, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it's mystery kiss, and turns out probably this too, right? Because it's slow down. I kind of like it about you that you don't have ambition,
Yeah. And then there's this weird just little bit here of, are you sure you don't think of me as a pet? Which I just go, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, like
what?
that came out of nowhere so much in the conversation that what that meant to me is that he's been thinking about this a lot.
Well, okay. I don't think it came out of nowhere. I just think it's the way it's described is funny because one, she then goes, I wouldn't want a pet.
A pet with a horse face?
With a horse face?
Yeah.
Yeah. With this like fake ass smile.
Yeah.
And then he freaks out because the manager almost saw them hugging, which is
she's an idol and all that stuff.
Don't date an idol. He knows her secret identity, basically.
Right.
Well, no. She doesn't have a secret identity because she doesn't have a mask. So that's why it's a really big deal.
Right. Like she might have a stage name and keeps her private life very separate, but
that's actually a good point. I'm pretty sure Kaido is her actual like stage name. Like,
yeah, I feel like it could go either way.
Well, no. I'm pretty sure I remember when they're like, I'm Kaido, mystery kiss. And thus she has the public, face of that. And that's why it's not cool for him to be even touching her.
Sure.
But yeah, the idea of basically saying like, are you sure you don't think of me as a pet? I think could be are you sure you don't think of me as just a beta male, basically, someone who can be your
non-threatening to you, basically.
Right. Or basically not a fan, but someone that she can kind of be like, hey, just be there, just be attractive and be there, just be a boy toy, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And then she's like, what? I wouldn't want a pet with a horse face. Now, horse face is an insult, in any other context.
But he is an actual horse.
But he is an actual horse, so it's like...
But then why would she say horse face?
Why would she say that?
Yeah,
that is so weird.
Yeah, because, it's like...
either she's completely tone deaf and doesn't know how to interact with people, which I definitely could see being the case.
Sure, but, even if she was saying, I wouldn't want a horse as a pet, right? You don't need to say the face part, right? Like that connotates to the phrase of horse face rather than your face is a horse face because you were a horse,
right.
Like she's fine with the rest of you being a horse though,
I think the face part might be about how attractive he is, basically. That he is attractive, but then she's like, oh, come on. You're not that attractive.
Right, exactly.
Like I'm attractive.
I'm the most attractive.
Yeah, exactly.
That there ever
Again,
was.
yeah, that's probably what it is. It's a comparison thing again, of where she's like, but don't worry, babe. I'm the attractive one.
And the thing is that
I'm not using you for your looks or what have you. And you just make me feel like myself. And it's like,
and this really feels like another instance of Dobu with the projecting because he even admits to her, I don't really have ambitions, but I'm still a man, right? I
want things. I want things.
Yeah. Right. So, in a lot of ways, he could be the perfect partner for her of everything that she wants, basically. In that, he is not going to be threatening to your position or try and take advantage of you or anything like that. And let's be frank, that is something that she legit would have to worry about in any kind of relationship, right?
Yep.
Because and that's
especially the more popular she gets.
Yep, and that's the thing that I've heard that when it comes to either famous or wealthy people of why they kind of inbreed within their own social circles or economic circles or whatever, is because then they know that the other person understands that same kind of pressure, right?
And respects it and won't try and take advantage of it on some level.
In this situation, though, she's
for the most part.
Right, yeah, hopefully, right? That's the ideal, whatever, right? But in this situation, she is specifically projecting onto him the very thing that she would probably do in this kind of situation, right? If he was way more popular than her, then she would want to figure out how to use him, right? She's totally using him already, but in different ways.
Actually, that's the thing. She might literally be doing that. He's that popular.
Oh.
And Mystery Kiss has been on the fritz in terms of popularity. They're not that big.
Right. That's actually a good point. Because an idol getting a boyfriend is like, potentially career ending and all that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But theoretically, if he's like a superstar, maybe
and he's got ins with TV and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Maybe,
because it seems like they've been keeping things fairly like almost like professionally separate, kind of like, and not necessarily because of intent, but because they're both so busy, right? They don't get much time to see each other. And that was what felt the most genuine from that whole conversation, is when she's like,
I'll line up my schedule with yours.
Right, exactly.
She is going to move her life around his.
Yep.
That actually might be the setup for then why Shibagaki, the other member of Homo sapiens, Shibagaki and Baba had the conversation on the phone of basically as Shibagaki is trying to line up his schedule around Baba's, and he's like, that's covered, that's locked in, that's set up, that's done.
And it felt like a realization for both of them of just like, one, oh man, I let this maybe get out of control, and two, oh, I thought we were still so close, but all of a sudden he's so far away, right? Like, yeah. And maybe that's what it is actually with Rui, is that she's already seen him as basically having overtaken her, which makes sense if he's in storefront windows and stuff, when he's not even an idol or anything.
She was on the billboard big screen
that's
in
true.
The city, though. So
but
they're probably equals in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but like I feel like that is being active marketing versus what the audience desires, or what your market desires. So like,
the difference of not people aren't necessarily going to look at that and go, I want to see them in in whatever thing.
Yeah, they pay to put her on the billboard, right? And maybe it financially works out and all that.
Sure.
But the store owners, maybe they still have to pay because it's his likeness and everything. But they decide on their own, we will get more money if we have his likeness here.
That's a very good point.
That's a totally different ballgame.
That's some big brain think there. Well done, yeah.
And again, he's not nearly as much of like trying to be like a famous personality,
amiable,
and an icon,
and likable, and all that.
Right, exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the reasons why she's being a bit hostile to him here, but also is saying the thing of, I'll line up my schedule to yours, is because she realizes
genuinely likable.
Yeah, he's genuinely likable, and maybe she realizes, shit, he's passed me up, right? And I could see it being a little bit more wholesome than that if we go from the angle that he is more popular. But I get what you're saying, because they do seem like they've been together for a period of time longer than, like, this is not their first meeting. Right, like it's
been going for a while.
Before they hugged, I figured it might be something where it's like, oh, we're childhood friends, we've known each other for a long time, but then it's like, oh no, I think they are actually dating.
Yeah, sure. Right? There might actually be some credit to the past relationship stuff influencing some things that they do, because on their radio show, in the first episode after getting the fan
they
mail,
play one of their singles.
They play it was like Supernatural Love Phenomenon or something like that. Yeah. And that was played immediately after. That could have been something that they paid for, but it also might have been something
swayed by that relationship, basically.
I'm trying to support my my girlfriend and her endeavors and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting.
And the one other thing that
I just found it also interesting that this was in the end of the episode.
Right, which would make it seem like it's one of the things that's the most important. Yeah.
Like the stuff at the beginning.
Yeah. The other thing that I think is kind of interesting here is that we've been getting a vibe from Rui that maybe she's actually like the killer, assuming that the person who disappeared died, right? It seems as such from the body at the very beginning of the show.
The manager was somewhat involved.
Right, the manager was somewhat involved, but if you have a murder mystery, right, and turns out, oh, someone's a crazy killer, when I think of the emotional impact of that reveal, I would want to have someone that knows the person, that believes that they're a good
the
person,
best.
that they're the best, so that way the shock to them of not, oh, who done it, but the, oh my God, it was you, right? Like you did this, because that'd be a huge emotional punch, right?
It would, yeah.
And I feel like Baba kind of fits that bill, right?
He's kind of, like they were saying, he's not dumb, but he's kind of a patsy, and he's kind of a simple guy, and thus there's the possibility that, you know, he could end up being taken advantage of on some level. So, yeah. But oh my god.
I'm so glad that his partner didn't get shot.
Yeah. The super fan critic guy though, not Nagatoshi.
Right. That suddenly.
Nagashima Satoshi. Yeah. Okay, I really love that he found him there and basically was waiting.
Yeah.
And while Baba had all the girls be like, "Ooh, yeah," this kid who almost feels like he just lives on the internet at night.
Yeah, those bloodshot eyes
and
were
stuff. Is basically has been poorly because of some probably social ineptitude in that regard. Is actually a super fan of them and has been going to all their events.
Yep.
Has been writing letters constantly. Stopped writing letters probably because he was like, well, I just want to tell this to his face, and might have just missed a showing basically.
Sure.
But being a thing where he's like, no, I want to talk to him specifically. This is vibes of Tanaka and Imai, but it's another thing as well where it's you've been misinterpreting me all this time, but maybe I've also been misinterpreting you all this time because you get it. You get it. Your little thing you were talking about on the show. Yeah, that's it.
Like I'm not sure how to take that kind of statement because it on the one hand it could totally be that like he thinks about this so much that suddenly he changes his mind without necessarily any outside like input, right? But the other thing that it makes me think of is that he's possibly trying to change the way he interacts with them in person to make himself more likable when he says all kinds of things in fan mail that is far from
it just shows his social ineptitude.
Yes, shows his social ineptitude, right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole other conversation because
I just love this as well as that he just what's so funny about rolling your eyes? And it's like the way he's like, I don't give a fuck about your judgment or
driver,
understanding.
please. Yeah.
Let's get out of here. This guy's a little bit creeping me out. I absolutely like almost understand the crazed like I need to tell you this kind of thing because I've had multiple times where I've met my heroes.
Oh, sure.
And you end up saying basically a thing that shows that you're trying to like agree or have some kind of like connection point with them.
Right.
And because you're either nervous or you have social ineptitude in general, which I would say I definitely have a measure of that as well. But then on a third level, there's some lack of context or permission for the conversation to even happen that you then just blurted out and they're like, we didn't lead up or build to whatever this thing is that you're saying.
Right. You've basically breached my social space.
Well, no, yeah. I'm not talking about the. Yes, I think social space is a good way to describe it, but I'm more talking about the, like you've broached into my friendship space. Social space being like if you're physically nearby and we're already talking, that's
social space.
But it's the difference between like when you start saying, hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you. Then you go to, I would like to talk to you about the nature of comedy. And it's like, hold on.
Or even skipping past the, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Because you've been talking with them for years. They haven't been talking with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is, again, another aspect of the whole, not social media, but the fans creators
Right.
kind of having interactions of such that aren't necessarily based on something healthy because of the disconnect between the people that are then creating the media, basically, and then the fans who are enjoyingly consuming the media, but then want to have that kind of connection.
Right.
And that's where, Imai comes in. That's where Tanaka kind of works for that, not really, but it's more Imai.
We don't see him interacting with the people who made the gacha game or anything like that.
Yeah. It feels like there's a lot of pairs of people that fill similar archetypes, but act in those archetypes very differently.
Yeah.
And this is the other Imai, if you will, in the story, kind of who's been there since the beginning. And I just loved that. Oh, we actually get him.
That name drop that was like, because again, the earlier something is in a story.
It was the first name actually said in the entire story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I just find it so funny that we now actually get to see him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be watching to see if this giraffe, bumps into the story at any point later.
I thought we had gotten introduced to all the characters in this show, right?
Well, apparently, but there's so many more we could get into as well.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just a fun little thing.
Oh yeah.
But okay, Kakihana though, you got to stop. You got to know when to stop, man.
God,
I'm so worried for him.
Man.
I am so worried for him.
Yep, me too. And
he's been going to the same loan place, which is not like an official deal.
Yeah.
This is I get a little stub, and with that I'm signing away potentially my life.
Yep.
If I don't pay that back, because we saw in this episode Shirakawa, who very much is now literally life debted to Dobu.
I love the fact that they brought up that she didn't actually get to pay off any of the principal because of the interest. Yeah.
Because, you look at the interest that Kakihana has on his stub from the previous thing.
It
was stupid high. So it could run way out of control, not just because it's, one loan, but if he gets multiple.
Oh, yeah. And he was looking at buying jewelry. Like, dude.
It's a lot more than 100,000 yen.
Yeah.
Pain. And I know my theory is dumb. My theory is dumb.
Yeah,
you know what theory I'm talking about. I'm not going to go all into it again. But the fact that Kakihana just keeps getting focus that is so disconnected from everyone else, I don't get it. I do not understand why Kakihana would keep having these little few second things when we could either consolidate it and have some other character involved that could be the, person that he converses with, or if they're trying to make a point about how lonely he is, he's the other Shibagaki in this kind of setup where he's getting separated from his partner.
I feel like his situation here could be something where it's we know what his problem is right now.
Yeah.
And maybe it's going to be explored a bit like in more depth soon. But until then, we need to basically show that it continues to escalate.
Sure.
So since this is an ensemble cast, we can't necessarily dedicate time to him right now. So they're kind of doing the consolidated, concise thing of all right, here we go. We're just going to show little bits of him throughout the episode.
I guess.
It continues to get bad. He takes out the loan and then lives it up alone at a bar, which that was one of I don't know how expensive that food was necessarily.
Probably basic.
Yeah, probably pretty basic because, that's the bar that they
that's his
frequent
hangout spot.
Yeah, that's his hangout spot. But at the same time, it felt like it had gone beyond just I get the money so that way I can keep up the lie to impress this girl.
Yeah.
And then it became the lie that he was telling himself of I'm well off. I can party and live it up now because I have all this money.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe that's why the bar shop owner kind of keeps looking at him and going, hey, where's Odokawa? Because maybe Odokawa is one of the people that helps keep him
grounded.
Yeah. Which still, I know, doesn't...
The thematic similarities, I think, are plenty.
Yeah, the thematic similarity to what my theory is kind of works, I would say, relatively well, because then it's the thing of where, no, Kakihana is not Odokawa.
Right.
But it's the idea that they are two very similar men in that their life is kind of something that they're letting run away with them.
Yeah.
And they are not taking life by the steering wheel, if you will.
Right.
They're kind of letting just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odokawa did pretty good by, and who knows, maybe people will disagree with this, but by getting away from Shirakawa, you know, because, oh man, you don't need to hear about their codependent relationship.
Nope.
But then when he's talking with Dobu, he's like, you know what? I'll do this if you write away her debt. Which, you might think of it as like, oh yeah, he's just trying to help her out and everything. But if you think of it from another standpoint of, you're doing something that could get you killed.
Yep.
For someone who you really don't want to be, you know, interacting with.
Yeah.
You decided that they were dangerous enough that you wouldn't interact with them socially.
Yeah.
But you're still tethered.
That's the thing. It's not just that he doesn't want to be with her because of the danger and the stuff that she's gotten up to and the way she's manipulated and lied to him and all this stuff. But it's the fact that he was getting intimate with her. Thus, he cares enough about her that he still feels somewhat attached. Yep. And that aspect is complicated. So, therefore, once this little stuff with Dobu kind of runs its course, basically, at some point he'll see her again. And it's going to be the question of then, once you've basically let go, Odokawa, of a lot of that stuff, will she be in a position where, okay, now that she doesn't need to get close to you anymore, will she? Yeah. And that could be the question in his mind that he's like, am I worth her time?
Sure.
Once I take away the reason that she has to be with me.
And another way to think about this, if it wanted to get real hurtful, is she borrowed the money from Dobu for a reason.
True.
What you did basically just took away the consequences from her mistake. Now, granted, that means that she's free to, you know, do whatever.
Yeah, you might have saved her life.
Right, you might have saved her life, right?
And Odokawa might be the character that just keeps doing that, coincidentally saving tons of people's lives.
Totally.
Yep.
At the same time, she might not have necessarily changed enough that she wouldn't then want to have actual money again. Now, granted, it was for student loans and things like that, so it was a specific pressing need. Basically, it wasn't just to blow the money off on, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah, she's not Kakihana.
Right, she's not Kakihana, but if it wanted to get real nasty for Odokawa, it could go there, where it's yes, you help her out, and then she takes out another loan from Dobu or something like that.
Yeah. There's an aspect of this story that is very pessimistic about human society in general. And just the way in which people repeat the same mistakes because we don't really learn our lessons.
Right.
Even when we get a miracle taxi driver that kind of comes through and gives us this, you know, random set of numbers that, you know, coincide to something that leads to a really wonderful, like, you know, thing there. Maybe in some ways Imai is like on the best track of a lot of the people here, not just because he got lucky, but because he paid back the thing that he owed, not just in the way that, well...
Yeah, even if he's stupid and someone could totally take advantage of him and stuff, you know what?
He didn't have to, you know, find the guy basically again and be like, you know, I'm going to take you and give you free service at the cabaret for life.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I understand basically feeling that sense of you owe something to him.
Yep.
And you also stiffed him on the cab fee, you know, cab fare that one time. But, okay. Yeah, you idiot. If you survive this story, I would love to see what kind of a person that this takes you away from as you separate from Mystery Kiss and potentially being a super fan and not necessarily blowing all your money on their CDs and stuff.
I just realized I saved Odokawa twice in this episode.
Yeah,
It was the one time when he got him to go to the cabaret club because Tanaka was following them.
Yeah.
But again, when Odokawa was like, this isn't really for me, which I love, by the way, that, you know, that Imai's trying to help him out, and he's like, this isn't really my style, I'm a bit uncomfortable, I'm just going to go. And then he starts pushing him back, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
You don't get it, come on, it's great. Like, if he had walked outside, Tanaka would have been right there.
Right there and shot him. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious in that Dobu made a point about how if those two things aren't connected, you're the most unlucky person in the world. What I love about this is that those two things do not have to be connected.
Nope.
They probably are, but two, no. Odokawa is one of the most lucky persons in the world. Like,
Sure.
as far as the coincidental, convenient ways in which all these things connect through him. It's kind of insane.
And it's also hilarious.
And that's why the story's being told, of course.
Right. But I also love
taxi.
that Dobu is the one who said that.
Yes.
When he has this guy who has it out for him.
Has his number.
Right. And then I want to say it might have been after that exchange. I'm not sure. Maybe it was before. But then later you have someone who finds Dobu's gun.
That was before.
Okay, it was before that happened. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That was the whole Tanaka episode.
Wait.
Tanaka found his gun.
No. Yeah. But when the video goes out, because Tanaka goes to the place and shoots up the cabaret club. Right. Then that
was well before.
That was okay.
Yeah. That was the very beginning. That was pretty much near the beginning of the episode.
So that's after Dobu has seen that someone apparently found this gun that he buried.
Yes.
And then used it to do all this stuff, right? And then he says, if that happens, you are one of the most unlucky people I know. Right.
Yeah, it's like, no, Dobu, you're one of the most unlucky people in this whole story. The fact that he has your gun and you can recognize it as your gun means that other people could recognize it as your gun. And they could actually think that this is you.
Right. Like, that's actually the one piece of evidence where it's like, okay, now, granted, the hippo guy didn't call out that at all, right? It was completely an assumption, right?
Yeah.
But turns out there is actual evidence to support that assumption, even though it's wrong. So,
God, this show is so funny at times. Like, it's almost like it's a form of cosmic humor where it's just like, the joke of the universe is that everything keeps spinning somehow with all these coincidences lining up and not causing the world to implode on just pure random, how does this happen?
Just for the characters, it's not a very funny joke.
No, it's not a funny joke at all most of the time.
Man.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.